Hello guys, this is teacher Abel with another grammar presentation. In today's class we are going to study the ability. Okay, so we can talk about ability with can and could. A can and could describe ability and possibility. Let's take a look at it at the example. Okay, we have technology can often solve problems when doctors alone can't help. Now, in here, we are highlighting the possibility or the ability that technology has in the medicine framework. We have another example. Lieberman could see that his invention had other uses. Now, this is again an ability or a possibility in the past, in this case. Now, let's take a closer look at the pattern we follow. First, we're going to have a subject, a modal verb, in this case can, and a base form of the verb, in this case help. I can help people, right? Now, we have different modal verbs such as, well, in this case is that it is the same modal verb but in the negative form. We have two negative forms for the modal verb can, which are can't and cannot. Then we have could, and we have again two forms of the in the negative wave, right? So we have couldn't and could not. Now, be careful with the pronunciation. I believe you have been told that the pronunciation in the affirmative wave is I can, and in the negative form is I can't, with a T at the end. However, you will notice that native speakers do not pronounce the negative form in that way. They barely pronounce the T. Basically, it's the intonation you give. For example, if you say, I can talk right now, that means that you are able to talk right now. But if you say, I can't talk right now, sorry for that. That means that you cannot talk, that you don't have time to talk right now. Focus on the intonation, not on the pronunciation. Perfect. Let's continue. We have several subjects, as you know. Now, how do we create yes/no questions and answers? Basically, we're going to move the modal verb at the beginning of the sentence. For example, can I help? Now, remember the intonation. Can I help? The short answer will be yes, I can. Now, let's take a look at other examples with different subjects. Now, we have other kind of modal verbs. We have could, as we said. Could I help? In this case, could I help means podía ayudar in the past or podría ayudar in the present. So the context will tell you if we're talking about the past or if we are talking in a more polite way in the present. Okay? Now, let's continue. We have some information questions as well. How do we create them? Well, we basically add a WH word at the beginning of a yes/no question. As you see, the WH word is at the beginning, and then we have the basic pattern of a yes/no question. For example, how can we solve the problem? Now, imagine that we do not have the WH word there and we just have can we solve the problem? That's a yes/no question. That's why it's important to recognize that the yes/no question is the base to create information questions. We can add more WH words as well, such as were, other modal verbs such as could. Where could they solve the problem? When could they solve the problem? Or when can they solve the problem? The WH word you will use will depend on the kind of information you want to elicit, right? How for manner, where for place, when for time. Okay, and we have other WH words such as what can help, and who could help. Oops, sorry. In the second part, as you see here, we have a different pattern. We do not have a subject since we are looking for the subject in who, or we are looking for the object when we ask what. Okay, so that's why the pattern is a little bit different. Now let's take a look at the uses of can and could. You can use can or can't to talk about general ability and what people know how to do. For example, my grandfather can swim, but he can't walk very well. Now, again, the pronunciation, right? It's not on the pronunciation, actually, it's in the intonation. My grandfather can swim, but he can't walk very well. Another example, engineers can solve problems when doctors can't. Okay, now you can use can or can to talk about people's senses and mental abilities. For example, can you see that tall building on the left? This is a sense, the sense of sight. Some patients can't remember if they took their medication. This is a mental ability. Let's continue. You can use can or can't to talk about what is or it is not possible and about known facts. For example, elderly people can have serious health problems after a fall. Or technology can solve every problem. Okay, this is a known fact, right? And again, let's continue. Use could or couldn't for the past. For example, Lieberman could see other uses for his product. Now, this was an inventor, and he, in the past, he could see, okay, the possibility of using his product in other areas. In the past, people with artificial arms couldn't lift heavy objects. Now, we can use could and couldn't as well for being more polite in the present. For example, instead of saying, "Can you come here, please?" That sounds kind of direct, straightforward. We can say, "Could you please come here?" That doesn't mean that you are talking in the past, but basically you are doing a request in the future and you are being polite. Okay, we're going to stop here with this topic. I hope you understood. If you have any other question, you know that you can reach out. Okay, have a great one. Bye-bye.